Hi, Joe Cerrone. Welcome to CAD 117 Intermediate AutoCAD and our weekly Zoom classroom meeting. Module 2, Part 1 is due today at 11:59. In Part 1, what we worked on was creating the two-dimensional multi-view drawings, front view, top view, and right side view of the parts from the exercise files in Chapter 2. And so here's our Module 2. Here's our multi-view part sheet. And essentially, we draw the front view, top view, and right side view of each of these parts. And then we like to bring modeling into the course. And so as we go through and we create these files under content in Module 2, what we like to do is create three-dimensional models of the part. And so here's the link, how to create three-dimensional models out of 2D parts. And this textbook is also located in the content area. And so as we go through, we look at the overview of the solid modeling, how to create the front, top, and right side views, and then some basic three-dimensional commands using a 3D workspace. We'll create the models through extrusions, press pull, 3D rotate, and then we'll take those models and we'll place them on a layout sheet. The pyramid is probably the one that you can't exactly press pull. You have to actually modify it. And so this video goes through and shows you how to create all these basic geometries. Back to our main splash page, Module 2. So as we go through and we start to work with Module 2, there's some additional references for you. And we have the Technical Drawing 101 book, and then we have this three-dimensional modeling textbook. And it does a really great job of just giving you the understanding of basic introduction to 3D modeling. And so, for example, if we're going to take this exercise and create three-dimensional models out of it, what we're going to do is we're going to be able to take those drawings and be able to extrude those into the z-axis. And so to be able to do that, we'll change our viewing perspective angle to an isometric. We'll change our visual styles to check on how those parts are created. And then we'll create the actual models themselves. So if we take a look at basic exercise here, what we'll do is we'll take and copy our part, bring it over to the side, hit escape. I like to add a three-dimensional layer, and so we'll go to Layer Properties, add a new layer, call it 3D, and we'll make that cyan color. I'm going to dial down that line weight to 0.3, make it current, change to an isometric view. And then as we look at how many units were 1, 2, 3, 4, if I click on this, hover, I can see that it's going to be 4 inches. And then we can invoke a modeling toolbar, 3D modeling. We can press pull it, hover, click, pull that up 4 units. And then we can 3D rotate that to get it into perspective. Choose the axis of rotation. You're going to want to have polar on and possibly ortho. I'm going to put ortho on, and that way you don't have to worry about the model not being true or square. We have a ghost underneath it, so we'll move the part off the ghost image, erase the ghost, delete it, and then we'll just kind of continue through these exercises. This one seems to be the only one that doesn't quite work out with extrude or press pull when you start to model it. So I'll give you a hint. What you want to do is you want to create a pyramid on that shape. And what you'll find is that you'll be able to get the length or the width, but not all of it. Let me try that again. And then when we pull that up, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 units tall. 4. If we take a visual style of this, like conceptual, you can see it doesn't fit. And so there's something called sub-object editing, where if you hold the control key, it's either control or shift, we can pull this by these little control tabs. Shift middle mouse wheel, you can spin it. Control click, grab this control, sub-object edit it. Looks like I undid the other side. Could be that my O snaps are fighting with me here. Yeah, that was it. And so that's the only one that doesn't really kind of fall into place like the other ones did. Everyone else is pretty straightforward as shown in the video. I'm not sure if I showed how to do that one, but now I have. We can just move it. And then we can complete the other models. And once you have the models created, what you want to do is you want to put it on a layout, double click in the layout, and then set that with an isometric viewpoint. Alrighty. So we can come back here, continue to model these. You'll have to turn off the center line layers because it will cut your model. So if we copy this, turn off the ortho, take a quick measurement. If you try to press pull it with a center mark on it, you'll just get a section of it. And so you can disable the center lines or just erase them. Press pull works better than extrude because you don't have to do the Boolean operations. You can take that to 6 units. If you click on it, you can always change that by clicking on that arrow. So let's say we want it to be 5. Bring it back up to 6. 3D rotate. Select our part. Hit enter. Place the gizmo. Typically I'll place it on the part. I'll turn my O-snaps back on. Choose the axis of revolution on this. Turn on ortho. And then we can move the part. They don't have to be perfect, but neatness does count. Try to make it look nice. And so we'll go through and we'll model each of these different parts. If we look at this one here is a little bit trickier because you'll have a Boolean operation to subtract it. And so if we copy this one, WP, window polygon, will allow you to go and kind of stitch your way around the part, especially when you're in an isometric view. And then we can extrude that part. Again, we want to turn off the hidden line layer here. So if I click on that and look at the quick properties, it's on layer hidden. And so I can turn off the layer hidden. I can press pull it 4 units. Go back to a 2-dimensional wireframe. Turn on the hidden line layer. And then I can see where that part is and how that part is set. It depends how you actually want to model it. One way, and I'll just show some interesting ways to do it, would be, and I'll just use a different color. And I sometimes will override the properties by typing in color. And then I'll choose something like this, purple. And then what I'll do is I'll create a box on that part. And I'll extrude that up. I think it's 2. I'll put it on a layer. with continuous visible line types. And then we can move that. And so you can say 3D move, select the part, hit enter, and then you can move it up by these arrows here. I'll turn off my OSNAP. And then as we take a look at that, we can see that that's centered in the part. If we shade it, we can subtract it. Select the larger shape first, hit enter, then the part to be subtracted. (3D) rotate it. Place the gizmo on a corner, select the axis of rotation, drive it up, drive it sideways. And that's how you can do these Boolean operations on, I think this is the only one that needs it. All right, back to the main splash page. So the 3D models will be due next week on the 12th. I've turned on the next module if you'd like to work ahead. Module 3. We'll go through and create this metric drawing of this part right here, front, top, and right side view. Make sure you use the metric template prototype along with the instructions for that. All right, that completes our overview for this week's Zoom classroom meeting. I'm going to stop the recording and open things up for questions.